Let's talk about a fascinating and, kind of terrifying idea. What happens when AI starts learning from itself? We're diving into the AI that eats itself.
So, we all know AI models get trained on the massive, sprawling ocean of data we call the internet. But what happens when that ocean starts filling up with stuff made by other AIs? That's the big question we're tackling. And trust me, the answer has some pretty wild implications.
And to really get our heads around this, we're not going to start with some abstract theory. Nope, we're going to look at a real-world fight that's happening right now in a community of total experts.
If you're a programmer, you basically live on Stack Overflow. It's the go-to place for real, human-vetted answers to tough coding problems. But with tools like ChatGPT exploding onto the scene, the community is split right down the middle on a huge question. Should they allow AI-generated answers on the site?
So you've got one camp saying, hey, AI is a tool. It could boost productivity for pros who know how to check its work. But then you have the other side, and they've got a counter-argument that really gets to the core of this whole mess.
Yeah, this counter-argument, it points to this deep, fundamental flaw in today's AI. And it's a flaw that has the people who run Stack Overflow, the moderators and longtime users, seriously worried.
This quote from the debate it absolutely nails it. See, AI doesn't know what it doesn't know. It can spit out an answer that looks perfect. It's articulate, the logic seems solid, but it's a complete fabrication. It's a confident charlatan, and that's what makes it so incredibly dangerous. And here's where the problem just blows up. Think about it. An AI can whip up a plausible but wrong answer in, 30 seconds? But for a human expert to actually verify that answer, to run the code, check for subtle errors, and confirm it's correct, that could take minutes, maybe even an hour. The effort is completely lopsided. It's a fight humans just can't win at scale.
So this very practical problem that coders are running into, well, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Researchers are now studying this whole phenomenon, and they've given it a name that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi horror movie.
So what in the world is an autophagous loop? It sounds super technical, right? But it's actually simple. It just means an AI model is being trained on data created by another AI model. It's literally an AI eating its own tail, or, well, the tails of its digital ancestors.
And when this loop goes on and on, the models can get something the researchers call model autophagy disorder. And yeah, the acronym is MAD. How perfect is that? It's this slow, generational decay of a model's quality as it keeps feeding on a diet of nothing but synthetic, secondhand information.
And if this whole idea still feels a little abstract, the researchers gave us this just chillingly perfect analogy. You know how feeding cattle the remains of other cattle led to mad cow disease? Well, they're saying that feeding AI models their own synthetic output could lead to a kind of digital mad cow disease.
So what does this digital madness actually look like? Well, the researchers ran a simulation, and the results are a pretty stark warning of what could happen.
Okay, this is our starting point, Generation 1. The model is trained on a really rich, diverse set of original, human-made data. It's a vibrant picture of information with all the messy, weird, wonderful details that make up our actual world.
Now check out what happens by Generation 5. After just a few cycles of training on its own output, the model starts to forget things. It starts chopping off the edges, losing the rare but really important outlier data. The basic shape is still there, but that richness, it's already starting to fade.
By Generation 10, the collapse is happening fast. The model is basically trapped in an echo chamber of its own making. It's only learning from a simplified, averaged-out version of reality. The diversity just completely implodes. The researchers call this variance collapse. And by Generation 20, it's gone. That rich, nuanced understanding of the world has totally collapsed into one single, distorted blob. It's forgotten almost everything. This right here is model autophagy disorder in action, and it is a chilling picture of a possible future.
Now, this simulation isn't just some academic exercise. It's a warning about the future of the internet itself, and it has massive consequences for every single one of us.
This quote from researcher Ross Anderson just captures the threat perfectly. We're on the verge of creating a whole new kind of pollution, information pollution. An internet filled not with anything evil, but just with endless, mediocre, slightly wrong blah.
And you know what? People are already starting to see it. In forums online, they're calling it digital inbreeding. As these models train on their own digital exhaust, the little errors, the hallucinations, the forgotten details, they all get copied and amplified over and over, creating an internet of increasingly warped copies.
But here's the twist, the final, fascinating paradox in all of this. As the internet fills up with all this synthetic blah, the value of real, messy, verified, human-created data, it skyrockets. In a world of infinite digital copies, authenticity suddenly becomes the rarest and most valuable thing there is.
Which leaves all of us with one final and really crucial question. In an internet that's increasingly just feeding on itself, a world of copies, of copies, of copies, where are we going to find the truth? What becomes our anchor in the sea of digital noise? That's the challenge ahead, and we need to start thinking about it right now.